Hello, everyone. I welcome you to this very important session when it comes to verbal ability for your IPMAT examination. By the way, hi, I'm Sukanya. And when it comes to reading in general, most people, when it comes to VARC material, they read it and end up forgetting it in 2 days. Now, the secret isn't reading well, but the efficiency of your note making. You need to understand that, brilliant note making will help you with clarity of concept, quick revision, and it will also help you with retention. You need to be purpose driven when it comes to note making. What is the meaning of being purpose driven? Basically, you need to ask yourself the question, what helps me revise faster rather than copying the entire passage as it is, right? The next important thing is you need to understand that note making should be crisp, concise, that means to the point. It should not, be like it should not talk about things in a roundabout fashion or something that confuses you in general, right? And what is essential when it comes to VARC is you divide it into three categories. The first one is where you jot down important traps, where you jot down main idea questions, tones, etc. The second one, which is related to verbal ability, that means your grammar, your idioms, figures of speech. And the third part is the critical analysis part, where you write down the arguments, fallacies, etc. Right? So today we are here to throw some light on the importance of note making and how can you be a strategic note taker, right? So let's get started. The first pointer is you need to be very smart when it comes to note making. And instead of writing an entire paragraph as your notes, you need to switch to pointers. As you can very well see, you need to not copy the book or passage. You need to just simply break it down into short, crisp, I would say kernels of wisdom. And as you can see the example here, instead of writing industrialization caused large scale migration to cities, just simply write industrialization, an arrow to point out what it causes, and that is migration to cities. So you need to be very, very smart when it comes to taking down your notes because you don't really need to write run-on sentences which confuses you further. You just need to shorten it or make it more condensed. Moving to the next important pointer, which is being precise. As I've already said, सीधी बात no bakwas. तो आपको एक चीज समझनी पड़ेगी कि you need to be very accurate in what you are taking down as notes. So when it comes to shrinking the concept, you know, you don't really need to repeat it over and over again. तो बहुत बार ऐसा होता है एक passage में the same idea is a recurrent theme and you might see it everywhere, but you don't need to repeat it over and over in your notes as well. So if it takes more than 7 to 8 words, you're probably overwriting. इसका मतलब ये है कि you need to again be very very vigilant when it comes to note taking. You need to think of a cheat sheet, something that helps you quickly get to the answer. So you need to think of a cheat sheet, not a textbook, because you don't really have that kind of time to revise a textbook, right? You're making things easier for you, not more challenging. Moving to the next important point, which is no flowery language. What you need to understand here is you are trying to make things easier for yourself, not complicated. So when you use flowery, ornamental language, more and more adjectives, more and more difficult terminology, it actually becomes really hard to retain that information. So do not waste your time writing elaborate sentences. Your notes should actually talk to your future self in a short code. It's basically you hinting yourself how to get to the resolution of the problem in quick and easy steps, right? So no flowery or ornamental language. अपने लिए चीजें complex नहीं करनी है, हमें simplify करनी है basically. The next point is use relatable examples. So generally if it comes to vocabulary, I tend to tell my students that जब भी आपको कोई एक adjective दिखता है, if you have a person around you that reminds you of that adjective, you know, आप बोल सकते हो you can associate that adjective to that one person. For example, I myself am really stubborn, and stubborn मतलब कि जिद्दी, और उसके लिए एक आप बोल सकते हो high frequency word is adamant or intransigent. So instead of calling myself stubborn, I'll start calling myself intransigent or even adamant or obdurate. So एक तरीके से मैंने अपने लिए ही कुछ synonyms जो है वो बना के रख लिए. Similarly, if you have a friend who is really strict with their work, you can call them a martinet. So this is how you can remember through relatable examples. जैसे कि हम यहाँ पे भी देख सकते हैं. Instead of writing enigma, which means mystery, you can simply write enigma is equals to Batman villain who is mysterious. Okay, so the name of the Batman villain is Enigma, and उसका मतलब ही होता है mysterious. So usually villains are, I would say, made out of many layers. तो उनकी बहुत सारी layers होती हैं, और वो धीरे धीरे आप बोल सकते हो reveal होती है, and that is how you can remember that. So tie abstract words to real images, movies, memes, whatever you feel is relatable and easier to remember. So आपको अपने लिए ऐसे एग्जाम्पल्स ढूंढने हैं, जैसे कि कोई एक मीम हो या कोई एक टीवी सीरीज हो जो आपको रिमाइंड करवाता है इस पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट का. सो यू कैन एसोसिएट दैट पर्टिकुलर टीवी सीरीज टू दैट पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट. यूज रिलेटेबल एग्जाम्पल्स, राइट? मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट वन. यूज एब्रीविएशंस एज वेल एज सिंबल्स. बट बात यह है कि जब हम एब्रीविएशंस एंड सिंबल्स यूज कर रहे हैं तो हमें भी पता होना चाहिए कि व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज द, like, is this a short form of? It will definitely help you save a lot of time, and it will actually help you make your notes look very clean. But the thing is, आपको भी पता होना चाहिए कि इस abbreviation का मतलब ये होता है. For example, IMP stands for important, DVP stands for development, and generally when I'm making my own notes, increase की जगह पे मैं upwards arrow बना देती हूँ, decrease की जगह मैं downwards arrow बना देती हूँ. So that kind of helps me. Similarly, example के लिए we generally use EG or EX. Question for assumption. So this is how you can actually make your notes very, very crisp and make it look very clean. So moving forward, only use abbreviations you will remember. Do not make them so cryptic. मतलब कि खुद ही के लिए वो चीजें secretive ना हो जाए, and you are not able to understand or identify what does that mean. So please remember that वही abbreviations use करो जो actually याद रहे, and something that should not confuse you and make your रिविजन मोर टीडियस. तो आपको अपने लिए चीजें क्या है, फिर से सिंप्लीफाई करनी है. दैट्स द होल सोल आइडिया बिहाइंड नोट टेकिंग और नोट मेकिंग. एंड a general last pro tip, and that is 5-minute revision rule. What does that mean? So once you are done with making your notes, you need to ask yourself the question कि क्या मैं ये पूरा का पूरा page in its entirety, can I actually revise it in the next 5 minutes? If yes, that means you have come out the other side with flying colors. That means you have been successful in making your notes. But वहीं पे ही अगर तुम्हें ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता है कि मैं 5 मिनट में इस पूरे पेज को रिवाइज कर पाऊंगा या कर पाऊंगी, दैट मीन्स यू हैव unintentionally put in a lot of junk material, something which is not really needed for efficient note making. So ये चीज हमें याद रखनी पड़ेगी. Always remember to ask yourself, can I revise this entire page in 5 minutes? If yes, that means efficient notes. If no, too much clutter. And नोट मेकिंग में अगर क्लटर होगा तो इसका मतलब ही वो एक एफिशिएंट या स्किलफुल नोट मेकिंग नहीं है. सो दैट इज इट फ्रॉम माय साइड, गाइस. आई होप these strategies would help you in future, because we are just starting out. So if you start incorporating this, I'm sure that you're going to benefit from it. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.